Hello and welcome. In this lecture, we are going to be creating matching symbols. So we're going to do this through using random numbers. So we're going to add a random object and a list of icons. So what we're going to do here, we're going to create a set of matching symbols for the game. Each symbol will be added to two random cells. So it doesn't have to be two next to each other. It could be any of them, but as long as it's going to be added to two random cells inside the table layout panel, which is this one, which is this one with the yellowish green background. To do that, we need to write some code. So let's see the code behind the form. So click on the form title here and click on view and click on code, and that should open up the code. All right, so this is the code behind the form. So we are going to create a random object. So we're going to create a random object to choose random icons for each of the squares. So to do that, we need to type in the word random. All right, so the IntelliSense has picked that up for us. So that's a random. And we need to give it a name. I'm giving it random. And then we need to set a new instance of that. So to do that, you do equals to new random. And then we'll put semicolon. All right, so we created a new random variable here and also set it to equals to new. So that's what this will do. It will generate random icons. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to create a second object that we will use to store the randomly chosen symbols. So we're going to store that in a list. So to create the list, we just need to tab down and type in the word list. And when you create a list, normally you have to pass in the values inside the list, inside the square brackets. You need to specify what the list is going to store. Is it going to store numbers or is it going to store strings? Strings are also known as text. So it's going to store strings. So you need to specify that and then you give it a name. So I'm going to call it icons or symbols. So I'll call it icons, and you need to set a new instance of that. To do that, you do equals to new list, and we'll pick that up. Yep, and then you put the parentheses, because it's a list. You need to specify the values in curly braces. So in between these curly braces, and we need to also end it with a semicolon. So in between these curly braces here is where we're going to specify the list of the icons we want stored inside the list. So each of the symbol will be paired. So I've added the first one. This is an exclamation mark. This exclamation mark represents a symbol or an icon. So you have to have them in pairs because I want it to be randomly generated between the cells of the grid. So I'm going to add a few more, because I'm going to add pairs of 8 because we have a grid of 16. So I've now added 8 symbols, but I've added them in pairs. So this is and I've separated them each one with a comma. So that's exclamation mark, and that's the second one. So they're all in pairs. So this is the number n. Okay, so each of them is separated by a comma. Notice they are enclosed in quotes because they are regarded as string. So the list here will only store strings, and each of the string has to be enclosed in quotes. So each of these icons will represent a different symbol on the grid. So that's it for this lecture. In this lecture, we created a set of matching symbols that we will use to generate random images for our game later. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.